Netflix just resurrected Gene Wilder, but he's been dead for 7 years, using AI voice cloning to narrate a new Willy Wonka reality show. Think of it like this. AI scientists recorded and studied the actual patterns of his voice, the way he paced, paused, inflected every word, and then taught a computer to generate brand new sentences that sound exactly like him. The show, called The Golden Ticket, is a Netflix competition where real contestants race through chocolate factory challenges, and Wilder's AI voice narrates every moment. Here's what's jaw-dropping. We're now at the point where artificial intelligence can literally resurrect celebrity voices, not for fan projects or YouTube deepfakes, but for mainstream Netflix productions that millions of people will watch on opening day. This changes everything about how we think about celebrity legacy and consent. Is it ethical to use a deceased performer's voice without their living permission? What happens when an AI version of Gene Wilder can say anything Netflix writes, even stuff he'd never have agreed to? And this is just the beginning. If Netflix can do this for Gene Wilder, what's stopping them from doing it for anyone? This all started when Netflix commissioned an AI voice project using a cutting-edge technology called voice cloning. Voice cloning isn't new. Researchers have been working on it for a decade, but it's only recently become good enough to fool audiences. Here's how it works in simple terms. You take hundreds of hours of recordings from a person's voice, feed them into a neural network, and the AI learns the patterns, the unique fingerprint of that person's voice. Netflix didn't create this technology from scratch. They licensed it from companies that specialize in voice synthesis. The team studied Gene Wilder's actual performance recordings, analyzed the rhythms and tones, and trained an AI model specifically on his voice. The result: when the AI generates new dialogue, it sounds remarkably authentic. But here's the thing, this isn't just Hollywood getting creative with old technology. Voice cloning has been improving exponentially. 2 years ago, generating convincing long-form speech in someone's voice required days of processing. Today it takes hours. Next year it might take minutes. The technology is advancing faster than the entertainment industry or society knows how to handle it ethically. Netflix's decision to use it for Gene Wilder is a watershed moment because it's the first time a major studio has deployed this at scale for mainstream content. And once Netflix proves it works commercially, other studios won't be far behind. Let's dig into what's actually happening under the hood. Voice cloning is built on something called a neural network, essentially a computer program trained to recognize patterns in audio data. Here's a rough analogy. Imagine you listen to someone speak for thousands of hours. You'd notice their quirks, the way they stretch vowels, how they rush consonants, where they pause for breath, the warmth in their tone. You'd internalize these patterns so deeply you could mimic them. A neural network trained on voice recordings does something similar, but at mathematical scale. The AI analyzes millions of tiny audio features, pitch, duration, accent patterns, emotional undertones, and builds a mathematical model of Gene Wilder's voice. When Netflix feeds it new text, the AI generates audio that matches that model. It's not replaying old recordings or blending clips. It's synthesizing entirely new sound waves that follow the patterns it learned. The creepy part: the quality has crossed the uncanny valley threshold. A few years ago, AI voices sounded robotic and fake. Today they sound like real people. You can hear natural breathing, the slight rasp in the throat, emotional cadence shifting with the dialogue. It's crossed the line from novelty to mainstream tool. And here's where things get genuinely controversial. So what does this actually sound like in practice? On The Golden Ticket, Gene Wilder's AI voice narrates the opening of each episode, guides contestants through challenges, and delivers the pivotal moments when someone wins or gets eliminated. Netflix released clips so people could hear it, and the reaction was immediate and split. Some viewers said it was uncannily perfect. They genuinely forgot they were listening to AI. Others said it felt invasive, like a ghost voice that didn't belong in a new show. The narration itself is light-hearted and playful, full of Wonka-esque wordplay and encouragement. Welcome, my dear friend, to the most delicious competition ever devised, the AI Wilder says in one clip. The pacing is spot on. The emotional beats land. There's no robotic stiffness or deadpan delivery. Netflix spent months fine-tuning the voice model to capture not just how Wilder sounded, but his comedic timing and warmth. Here's the thing, though. Hearing that voice narrating a reality show you know Gene Wilder never filmed, never consented to, never even knew would exist. That dissonance is jarring. It's not quite right. It's not quite wrong. It exists in this new ethical gray zone where the technology has outpaced our sense of what's appropriate. Netflix isn't the first to use AI voice synthesis, but they are the biggest player to use it for a deceased celebrity. Smaller studios and independent creators have been experimenting with voice cloning for years. You've probably heard AI narration on audiobooks or synthetic voices in indie games. Companies like Google and Amazon have been training voice models for years, but those were original AI voices. They didn't pretend to be specific real people. There's a massive difference between, hey, here's a cool synthetic voice we created, and here's a voice that sounds exactly like someone who died, saying things they never recorded. The comparison that fits best might be deepfakes, AI-generated videos that mimic famous people. Deepfakes exploded a few years ago, and the internet quickly agreed they're ethically problematic and legally murky. Governments started regulating them. But voice cloning for deceased celebrities, there's no regulation yet. There's barely a conversation about it. Netflix essentially moved first into uncharted territory. They consulted with Gene Wilder's estate. The family approved the project, but there's no legal precedent for whether that approval is actually enough. What happens if Gene Wilder's voice is used in a way the family never anticipated? What if they sell the rights to another studio? This is new legal ground nobody's walked before. Here's what keeps industry insiders up at night. This technology is now in the hands of massive corporations with no guardrails. Netflix has already proven it works. They've already shown audiences will accept it. That means this isn't a one-time stunt. It's the opening move. Within 5 years, expect AI to resurrect voices of dozens of celebrities for film and TV. Studios will pitch it as honoring legacy. Audiences will get used to it. But there's a darker implication most people aren't talking about: consent. Gene Wilder died in 2020, 7 years before his voice was ever synthesized. He never gave permission. His family did, but he didn't. That sets a precedent that now applies retroactively to everyone. If you're a celebrity, Netflix can use your voice after you die, as long as they cut a deal with your estate. That changes what it means to own your own voice. Your voice becomes an asset your family can license for money. And here's the unsettling part. The AI voice can be updated, corrected, trained on new data. Gene Wilder's voice could theoretically be used to deliver statements on politics, religion, or causes he would have despised. The AI isn't bound by the ethics of the person it's mimicking. It's bound by the corporation controlling it. So how do you spot an AI voice in the wild? Here's what to listen for. AI voices have gotten scary good, but they still have tells if you know where to look. First, listen for the breath. Real human speech has natural breathing patterns, inhales before long phrases, tiny pauses where the lungs refill. AI voices often miss this subtlety. The breathing is either too perfect or too random. Second, listen for the micro-emotions. When a real person speaks, their voice subtly changes with genuine feeling. When an AI mimics emotion, it sometimes overshoots or undershoots. The sadness might sound theatrical, the excitement artificially boosted. Third, check for consistency. In The Golden Ticket, Gene Wilder's voice maintains the same tone through every episode, which is suspicious because real voice actors vary their delivery naturally across multiple days of recording. They bring different energy depending on when they recorded, how they are feeling, what's happening in their lives. An AI voice is eerily consistent. Fourth, and this is important, demand transparency. If a studio is using an AI voice, they should tell you upfront. No surprises. That's the baseline we should all expect. Check the credits, read the description, ask questions if something feels off. Companies can't hide this forever. Audiences will figure it out. The smart move is to be honest about it from the start. Here's what this moment means. We are at an inflection point. The technology to resurrect voices is here. It works. Studios will use it. The question isn't whether AI will generate celebrity voices, it's how society responds now. What rules do we set? What consent looks like in this new world? Do we let corporations use deceased people's voices commercially? Do we require family permission? Do we need laws? These are conversations that need to happen urgently, before 10 more studios launch AI resurrection projects and it becomes normal. The Gene Wilder project with Netflix is elegant, well-intentioned, and approved by his family. It might be the ethical ceiling for this technology, the best-case scenario, but it's also setting precedent. Every studio will point to this and say Netflix did it, the family approved it, audiences watched it. They'll do the same with other celebrities, and inevitably, someone will push harder. Someone will use a voice in a way the family didn't anticipate. Someone will commercialize it too aggressively. When that happens, we'll wish we'd drawn clearer lines now. Here's what to watch for: pressure from lawmakers and creative communities demanding regulation. Expect pushback from studios wanting freedom to create. And pay attention to how AI voices evolve in the next 2 years. The technology moves faster than policy. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and follow for more on how AI is reshaping entertainment. The future is being written right now.